Good morning, Nathan Roberts. So you put out a video in July referencing Mark Sargent's discussion with a surveyor who's offering $100,000 basically to prove that the Earth is a globe. I'm happy to take that up, and I'll talk more about that later in the video. But first of all, let's talk about your actual observation. So Myrtle Beach in South Carolina. You were somewhere near the, Cherry Grove Pier, looking south to what you say is the DoubleTree Resort Hilton Hotel, which you've identified as this blurry smudge on your footage. I disagree. I don't think that's DoubleTree Resort. And I've said so in the comments. I've also asked you to get me in contact with Ray the surveyor that Mark Sargent talked to. Anyway, let's see what building that is. All right, so this is the DoubleTree Hilton on Google Earth, and it is one of those areas on Google Earth with very high resolution elevation data. So you can stick your mouse cursor on top and get an accurate elevation of 74 feet above sea level. So yeah, according to the Earth curve calculator, whether you take the refracted hidden or the plain geometric hidden, that should be well below the curve of the Earth, beyond the horizon. So I agree. If you can see the DoubleTree Hotel, that's a problem for the globe. All right. So in your video, at around the 4:41 mark, just after you've zoomed in on what you call the DoubleTree, you start to zoom out, and I've paused it at a particular spot where I have the Renaissance Hotel in the picture, as well as this radio tower and a bunch of other buildings that are identifiable. So what we're going to do is do some analysis on this screenshot. So I agree, this is the Renaissance Tower 1515, and on my screenshot it is 68 pixels from the left, and on Google Earth the azimuth heading from your observer location is 231.96 degrees, which you can go and verify if you like. That is to the right edge of the building. This radio tower, which I've identified somewhat further inland, is 478 pixels from the edge and at a heading of 232.57. All right, so what we can do then is go into Excel and try and plot these azimuth and pixel locations into a chart and try and get ourselves an extrapolated straight line. And with that straight line, we can identify other buildings either by their pixel locations and their azimuths and see if they match up. So this is a straight line with those two markers. And it gives you a line equation in Excel. So this is like a line equation, in the form y equals mx plus b, where m is the gradient of the line, so the slope, and b is the intercept, which is where it crosses the y-axis. We've also put the r squared value here, and that's a measure of how accurately or how well these data points fit a straight line. Obviously, if there are only two data points and it's a straight line, then they have to fit. All right, so I now have a look at this building on the far right and come up with a pixel location of 2030 pixels from the left, and I go and work out what the azimuth heading should be based on that line equation. It comes out at roughly 234.85, and funnily enough, if you draw a line from your observer location at 234.85, it runs directly into the right edge of this building, which was what was it called again? The Bayview Resort. So I'm pretty confident that I've identified that building as the Bayview Resort. It also confirms that the straight line equation is pretty accurate, which is good. All right, so we have that as the Bayview Resort. But if you go back to the actual picture of the Bayview Resort, it looks like there is a building to the left here that we kind of don't see in the Google Earth image. So that building would be somewhere here. And I thought that was a bit odd, so I went and checked out the Google Street View and saw that, yes, as of May 2017, this was a construction site. So I'm fairly sure, it's a prediction of mine actually, to say that there's a building next to the Bayview Resort that is now roughly this high. And if you can go and check that out for me, that would be great. All right, so we can add the Bayview Resort to our little table with its azimuth and its pixel location, and that basically gives a more accurate straight line equation, which again is printed on the chart. I've got the numbers here with the better precision. So our y equals mx plus b equation is this. So m is the slope of that line and b is the intercept. Or we can rearrange it in terms of the azimuth. So we can stick in a pixel location to get the azimuth heading, or we can stick in an azimuth to get a pixel location. So this is the equation we're going to use to match off various buildings in that screenshot that I took. All right, so the next one, if we check the pixel location of this building here at 1682 pixels, we come up with a azimuth heading of 234.34 degrees, and that matches very, very closely with the Oceans One Resort. I think that is it here. So it matches in that it's a higher building stepping down slightly and even stepping down again, which matches this. So pretty sure that's it. Now let's get to what you call the DoubleTree Resort by Hilton. So on that screenshot, the pixel locations of that smudge that you call the DoubleTree, I'm not sure how you identify it actually. It just looks like a bit of a smudge to me. Anyway, so the left edge is 1013 pixels and the right edge is 1050. And using that line equation, we can work out the headings as 233.35 and 233.41. If we go and draw lines from your observer location with those headings, it intersects very, very closely. I know this one's off by a tiny bit, but intersects very, very closely with the Crown Reef Resort, almost exactly. So the top left-hand corner of that building is 233.34, and the top right-hand corner is 233.41. So I'm going to go ahead and say that this building that you've identified as the DoubleTree is not the DoubleTree, it is the Crown Reef Resort, which is obviously what I just said. All right, now that is the DoubleTree Hilton itself. And if you draw lines from your observer location to the DoubleTree, the azimuth headings 233.16 and 233.32. If you then go and draw those on that screenshot that I took, you'll see that the DoubleTree should be in this area here, but it is not. It is behind the curve of the Earth. So we can see the Crown Reef Resort, and we should see it on a globe, but we cannot see the DoubleTree Hilton. And that is entirely consistent with the globe, and it contradicts the flat Earth model. There is no way that you should not be able to see the DoubleTree Hilton if you can see the Crown Reef Resort right next to it. All right, now getting back to the challenge that Mark Sargent's guest put out. I've contacted Mark Sargent a few days ago to ask for Ray the Surveyor's contact details, and now I'm asking you if you can get me in contact with Ray the Surveyor. I would love to take his money. I would like to do it legally. So I'd have a legal contract drawn up. Ray the Surveyor says he would just bring $100,000 cash. I don't think that's a good idea. Anyway, if you can get me in contact, that would be great. Thank you.